Hey there, this is Dana Arcuri, author, speaker, and wellness advocate, and today's topic is not an easy one for me. I am putting myself out there in a very vulnerable manner, but I feel like it could help others who are going through a similar situation with their family or in a relationship that's toxic. And so this is involving dysfunctional family. And whether it's your parents, whether it's your siblings, even dysfunctional relationships such as with a boyfriend, girlfriend, or spouse. And so my situation is challenging. In the summer, I went from no contact for 2 months into limited contact. And just this week, after some very interesting and very hurtful things that have occurred with my family, I've gone back to no contact, and I've decided it's going to be for the entire holiday. So I'm going to pretty much go through the rest of November all the way through to the very beginning of January 2019 with no contact with my siblings or my mother due to the hostile environment and the very toxic behaviors and attitudes that just are nonstop. And so this is distressing. It's heartbreaking. I want to be upfront that I love my siblings. I love my mother. I don't wish harm upon them. I don't wish anything negative upon them. But I have also really grown through this journey. And in this journey, I've come to learn a few things about myself, about relationships, about family, about growing up in a dysfunctional family, and about the whole thing with my mother being the narcissist. And I am the scapegoat. And of course, the middle child is the golden child. Lucky her. She does no harm. She's perfect. I'm the bad guy. I'm always the bad guy. It's kind of crazy how the person who's the scapegoat, or, some people call them the black sheep of the family. It's crazy how we're always the one. Everything that goes wrong in the family, all the crap that comes down, it's always us. Very interesting that the narcissist parent cannot take responsibility and accountability for their own behaviors. Very interesting that the other siblings kind of just, they're the flying monkeys. They keep this whole thing going, the whole drama, deception, and dysfunction in the family. And so, I'm going to be honest, this summer, the reason why I went from no contact and then in the early fall to contact was because I felt guilted out. I'm a human. I have feelings. I have emotions. I'm a very sensitive person, and people that are highly sensitive people, we take things probably a lot more serious than anyone else. We're very sensitive about things going on, especially the trauma in our own lives and the dysfunction within the family unit. And, the whole family dynamics is very heart-wrenching because it just is non-stop crap that just goes on and on and on and on. And I reached a point that even after the whole thing of feeling like guilted out, like, oh, my mother has cancer and I need to get in touch with her and I need to know what's going on because my sisters will never tell me. So if my mother would drop dead today, my sisters won't tell me. There's a good chance if something would happen to my father or my mother or someone else, I'll never hear. They'll never tell me. So that's one of the reasons why I was back in contact with my mother and decided to do the limited contact in the early autumn, was because I knew that I would never hear anything. And the truth is, there's so many things that have come down and happened. Like, for instance, my mother had a very serious situation happen. She was bit by a tick, and there's that whole thing on when you have cancer, the last thing you need is to find out you have Lyme's disease. And so of course she had to go through the whole deal with getting the tick removed by a physician in the ER. It was super painful and it hurt. And then, she had to get injections of antibiotics, which we're not going to get into that. But for anyone who knows me, you already know how I feel about medicine, including antibiotics. Antibiotics can wreak havoc in our body because we could build up this intolerance to antibiotics, in which then they no longer work. But, let's not get into the health factor. But, anyone who understands family and dysfunction and the whole toxic dynamics, you understand that holidays are hell. Holidays are not joyful for us people. No, we're not ringing in, the holidays and the whole deck the halls and we'll be jolly. No, it's more like deck the halls and I'd like to just not get up. I'd like to just not deal with them. I'd like to just not have to be around these superficial, backstabbing, deceptive people who live in denial, who, like to pretend that everything's rosy, and it's the furthest from the truth. And so I woke up after all of this stuff happening, one thing after another, and which nobody was really speaking to me except for one sibling. And then another sibling decided the only reason she wanted to speak to me is she wanted money. So it's interesting how people contact you when either you went low contact, no contact, and then they somehow just kind of pop back up in your life because they need something or whatever. And so I ended up back in this whole low contact. And then this family continued to hurt me, backstab me, the whole miscommunication and lies and denial, until I reached a point where this week something else happened. And I was like, you know what? It's not even really about this particular circumstance that just occurred. Instead, it's to do with the fact that I've come to a realization. Here's the realization, which is I'm moving into acceptance. I may have been in denial for 50 plus years of my life, but I'm no longer in denial. I'm in acceptance. And acceptance is admitting the truth, and it can hurt. The truth hurts. So here's the truth. My family doesn't give a shit about me. My family doesn't care about my health, about my emotional wellness. They don't care about that I have some food restrictions and I have to maintain my health by limiting, cross-contamination with certain foods, especially wheat, rye, and oats, and they're disrespectful. They don't care, and it's really, really hurtful when people, by their actions that are speaking so loud, it hurts so bad when they stab you in the back and they say and do things that are just cruel. And then I'm left just kind of speechless. It always leaves me speechless, and part of me wants to lash out, and another part says, don't waste your breath. Don't waste your breath. Move forward and really focus on my self-care, focus on my emotional wellness, and forming peace of mind, and just passing on the whole holidays, passing on the obligations that we feel that we have to be around our family for Thanksgiving and for Christmas and for New Year's, and just coming to a place of acceptance and saying, here's the truth. People, either they love you or they don't love you. Either they care or they don't care. And people could say whatever they want, but actions speak louder than words. And when people's actions are speaking very clearly, they don't care, that you don't matter, that you're not enough, that everything that's wrong, they think it's you, and they play this blame game and manipulations and a lot of weird strategies, and they just continually wreak havoc in your life to the point that you're so stressed out that you can't sleep and that you're just not well. You have to get to this place where you could say, I'm going to either A, continue limiting my contact and risking that my health is just going to, reach bottom out, and reach a bad place because the stress really increases and the anxiety could skyrocket, and then the depression just kind of plummets. And then the holidays are hell. And who wants to live like that? I know I don't. And so this is going to be my first holidays of not being with my family, of choosing zero contact, of choosing a sacred place where I just carve out time for my own children, my own husband, my own friends, and the people around me who do care about me, the people around me who do love me, the people around me who lift me up and they encourage me and they love me and they believe in me and they cheer me on and they inspire me and they motivate me and they accept me for me. I'm not perfect. I'll never say I was perfect. And, as a Christian, we all fall. As a Christian, it is something that's difficult, especially because we have this whole thing, where we want to do the right thing. But we have to understand, this isn't how Jesus would respond by lashing out. This whole thing like, what would Jesus do? He doesn't want us in traumatic experiences and abusive experiences with our family. That's not at all healthy. And we have to consider forming healthy boundaries and choosing peace of mind. Peace of mind. And for me, that's what this holiday season is going to be about. It's going to be about a sacred place, a sacred journey of transformation, of focusing on the positive, of being around those who do lift me up and encourage me and who accept me and who are there to cheer me on. People who understand where I'm coming from and they're okay with the whole thing. I am real. I never claim to be perfect. I never claim to have it all together. I guarantee we're all in a process. We're in a process. And each day is a new day, and we have to embrace grace. And so I don't know what you're going through. I don't know if you are having trouble with your family or relatives or a spouse or a boyfriend or a girlfriend, and maybe you're choosing to call it quits. Maybe you're going to cut the ties with your family, or maybe for you, it's just better to continue seeing them, even though it means that you're going to be stressed out and your wellness will not be well. You have to start thinking about your physical health. Are you manifesting negative symptoms physically or emotionally because of this toxic, dysfunctional relationship? If so, you need to really take a good look at the whole picture and decide, are you willing to lose yourself, to lose your health, to lose your sanity, to lose your wellness and your sleep and your peace of mind because of other people who are wreaking havoc on it? You have to decide that you are enough. You are enough, that you matter. Your health matters. Your purpose in life matters, that everything about you is special and there's greatness within you. And only you could decide if going low contact or no contact in your relationships, whether it is something for you or not. Today, share with me what's going on with you. How are the holidays with you? Do you have toxic family or relationships that are making you feel really upset? Are you grieving the loss of your family and that it'll never be? I know I'm going through grief, and it is the most unpleasant experience. I'm writing about it in my 4th book, Sacred Wandering, sharing it, and it's just a very interesting experience where it's like the ocean. It ebbs and it flows. There's times during this grief process where I feel like I'm drowning and I feel like I can't breathe. And there's times where I wake up and I have a lot of depression. And I just thank God today for things like essential oils, CBD oil, herbal medicine, and all kind of wonderful natural ways to increase my wellness, to take care of me. Because we have to nurture ourselves, especially during these holidays when there is a lot more activity going on. There's a lot more demands upon our life. And so share with me, how are you doing? How are you taking care of you? Have you decided to go low contact or no contact during the holidays with your family or people you are in a relationship with? Thank you so much for being a part of my YouTube channel. Feel free to like, share, and if you'd like wellness tips and inspiration, go to DanaArcuri.com. God bless.